Welcome to The Holistic Nurse with your host, Peggy Smith. Peggy will introduce and educate her viewers about the differences between alternative, holistic, and complementary medical therapies. Her goal is to empower the lay medical consumer to learn how to advocate for themselves. So now, please welcome the host of The Holistic Nurse, Peggy Smith.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of The Holistic Nurse with Peggy Smith. Today, I'd like to welcome Don Pelles from Maryland. He is a fellow hypnotist like myself, and he's going to be sharing lots of good things to think about as we approach the new year. Welcome, Don. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Uh, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a hypnotherapist. This is my third career. I started professional life as a math professor many years ago, like 55, 56 years ago. And then I became a software developer, and about 20 years ago, I had an experience that led me into hypnotherapy, and that's what I've been doing ever since. I'm uh, been married for almost whoops.
Well, sorry about that.
Yeah. I've been married to my wife, Rosalind. It'll be 14 years. No, it'll be 48 years
Oh,
on the 14th of this month. Uh,
happy anniversary.
we have 3 sons, 3 grandchildren. Um, I play tennis when I can. I sing in the DC Labor Chorus. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Uh,
So you
that's about
sounds like you have a pretty balanced life. You better make sure you don't miss the anniversary since you weren't sure about the years there.
Yeah, I
Um,
have a pretty full life, actually.
oh, so what would you like to share with people today?
Um, we want to talk about hypnosis, self-hypnosis, empowered self. You having any pain right now, Peggy?
Well, I am 69 years old. I've got we used to have growing pains, my mother would say as kids, and now we have growing old pains.
Anything hurt
Um,
right now?
uh, I'm uncomfortable a little. Why are you asking?
Well, because I could show you how to fix it.
Oh, that would be great. I'd appreciate that. This ice cold goes right through our bones at this age, as you well know.
Where does it hurt?
Mostly my shoulders, I guess.
Okay. Which shoulder is more?
I'm dyslexic. The right shoulder.
Okay. Uh, and it would be okay if it felt better?
Oh, it would be great to feel better.
Okay, close your eyes. Go inside your right shoulder. Tell me what color it is in there.
It's sort of blues and greens with a little purple.
What would be a better color, more comfortable?
Uh, Probably a yellowish green instead of the darkness.
Okay. So just invite it to change. Maybe let the green become kind of a yellowish green. Just nod to me when it's there. You're just inviting it. You're not forcing it.
Okay, it's turning.
Uh-huh. And then more and more yellow. Just let me know when it gets all the way to yellow. Hmm.
Okay.
And just let it change to just the right shade of yellow. Just the best shade of yellow. Mm.
Oh, that's a pretty color.
Okay. And just spread that all around. Just let it soak into that shoulder. The muscles, the bones, the tendons, everything. Just yellow, yellow, yellow in there. And just sit with that for just a few moments. That's right. That's right. Even some of the adjacent areas, yellow. And when you're ready, open your eyes and tell me how it feels.
It doesn't feel as tense. I don't feel the pinching that I felt.
Uh-huh. What happened to the pain?
It's much decreased, yes.
Yeah. How's the other shoulder?
It's actually a little bit better too, but it's
Okay, just close your eyes. Spread that yellow into that other shoulder too. Mhm. Same yellow. Just let it spread. Just kind of move across your neck into that other shoulder and let it soak in. Just permeate all the muscles, the tendons, even the nerves and blood vessels. Mm. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and tell me how that feels.
it feels warm and, not achy.
Okay, you like that?
I did like that, and I guess we'll tell the viewers, since we're both hypnotherapists, this was not planned. So,
Was that
um,
hypnosis that we
that
just
was
did?
yes, it was.
It was.
It was, and very simple. And I used to be, before I went into hypnotherapy, one of those people that swore that, oh, I'm not hypnotizable. Um, and I learned quickly that those people are actually the easiest to hypnotize, as I'm sure you all know.
Well, about 90% of the people can do this, changing the color like this. About 90%. And that's why I'm very confident doing it, as an impromptu demonstration. Of the ones that can't, sometimes you can have them you can ask what's it sound like? What sound does it make? And then you can have them change that. What would be a better sound, a better chord or note? And for especially people that are auditorially inclined, say musicians or somebody like that, that works too. Yeah.
Okay, I'm making an assumption here, but I would imagine that musicians would be in rather easy for the most part to hypnotize. Um,
I don't, I don't
Music
worry
is
about
natural,
I don't worry about who's easy or who's not. I just assume everybody can experience hypnosis.
So, well, I agree with you. What are some of the things that, like, I recently had cataract surgery this year. I did it without anesthesia,
Oh,
um,
really? Yeah. Uh-huh.
just
That's
using
interesting.
self hypnosis, and it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, I had uh I had a pacemaker implanted and they gave me a local, but they wanted to do some kind of drug or something. I said no, I'm fine. And I just used self-hypnosis. This was 2010. This was 15 years ago. The whole anyway, word spread that I had done this without anesthesia, and the whole hospital was talking about it. It was funny.
Yeah, well, the anesthesiologist was, "Oh, you can't do that. I've never heard of such a thing."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I can." And it just happens that my eye doctor was my landlord for my hypnotherapy office, so he was aware, that I do medical
uh,
hypnosis. And she's, "Well, I have to ask him." And from across the hall, he broke out into a big laugh, and he said, "Well, if anybody could, she can. I'd like to see how it really works." And it was
so
kind of like
number
a video game.
Yeah, a number of years ago, I had my eye. It was this eye, and one of my eyes decided to grow an extra tear duct on my lower lid, and so I had it removed. And so again, they gave me. So anyway, the surgeon, as he's looking down at me, he says, "Are you hypnotized?" I said, "Yes."
Mm, yeah. So, well, I mean, you do have to have your, doctor in agreement, but we get a lot of clients that pre-surgery will come to,
That's
help
right.
calm them down. And or if they have needle phobias or worried about the outcome, things like that.
It's not only that. Hypnosis before surgery as preparation. There's less, and studies have shown this. There's less bleeding, less swelling, less pain. They need less anesthesia, and they heal faster.
Well, I mean, for years, all of my children were natural childbirth, of course, and that
Uh-huh.
was way before I was doing hypnosis. But it's the same principles, we train the expectant mothers to practice and,
Yeah, I
I
used
think
to
it
do
can.
that. I used the Marie Mongan method.
Okay.
In
Uh-huh.
fact, she trained me. Yeah, I haven't done it for a while, but I have several hypno babies running around.
As long as they're not, they have different fathers, that's fine.
No, no, not mine. I worked with couples.
I know, I'm teasing. Uh, you know, but, a lot of people are under stress right now. Just in the last since Thanksgiving, I'm seeing road rage and, just people really being rude and inconsiderate uh, and they're not people that I think would normally I don't think we normally have that many rude people running around. But everybody's really stressed out. Um,
Yeah, yeah, for good reason.
yeah. So, part of my goal on this show being not just to educate under holistic means, but to help empower people to take control of their health care.
Yes,
Why don't you talk a little bit about, coming into the new year and the uncertainty with insurance changes and things like that? And, I think we have a pretty good tool here that can be beneficial for most people.
yes, yes. Well, I can't help the insurance changes. Uh, I can't help, people being laid off and all that stuff. I did offer for government workers during the shutdown. I offered a free one free session. Some people took advantage of that, but what people feel is the stress, the fear, the anxiety, and you don't need that. You don't need it. Uh, Fear, for instance, you're an adult. I mean, I guess most of the people here are adults. So you don't need the fear. You can without the fear, you can perfectly well figure out what you need to do, how you need to handle a situation. The fear just gets in the way and distorts your reactions. So uh, I help people with that. I help people remove the negative emotion, the fear, anxiety. I work with people, for instance, who can't drive over bridges. Uh,
That's tough when you're in Maryland.
yeah, you familiar with the Bay Bridge?
Yes, I am.
It's a several mile bridge. It goes high over the water, and it's said to be the worst bridge in America. And have worked with people who can't drive over that. In fact, they have a service. You can pull up to the just past the toll gate, and they will have some. You have to pay for it, but somebody will drive you across the bridge. Uh, so I work with people who have that problem, and we resolve it. Uh, I I test. You can go on YouTube and you can see videos of from the driver's point of view of driving across that bridge, sometimes in rain or even in snow. And after I work with somebody, I will have them watch that video. And if that doesn't bother them, it's a good indication that they'll be able to drive over the bridge. With a phobia, if you can, you should always test. Yeah.
Before they enter that situation, sure. We're going
Yeah.
to take a brief break right now. We'll be right back and we
Okay.
can resume this. Thank you.
Cool.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to easysense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's easysense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Hi, welcome back to the Holistic Nurse with Peggy Smith. My guest today is Don Pelles, a fellow hypnotherapist who is going to be sharing some more benefits of hypnotherapy and what it can do for you.
Okay, so I'd like to start to talk a little about what is hypnosis. So hypnosis is really an altered state. We usually think of it as a trance state. We go in and out of trance all the time without noticing it or thinking about it. For instance, when you're really deep into a book and maybe somebody comes up and speaks to you and you don't even notice them. Well, you're experiencing the descriptions in the book. You're involved with the characters, with the plot, and you're shutting everything else out. Or say you're watching a movie. So to enjoy this movie, you have to do two things. You have to focus on the movie, and you have to go around that part of your mind that's always wanting to, pick things apart. Because really, if you don't do that, you can't enjoy the movie. I mean,
Excuse
think
me,
about it.
there's an interference here.
Oh, yeah, I can see.
Lucky has PTSD. He could use some hypnosis.
Probably. Well, I've never tried hypnotizing a dog,
He
but
responds to Reiki and red light therapy, so that helps.
that's cool.
I'm down.
So with the movie, if you really think about it, you're not going to enjoy it. I mean, these are actors, right? And they're saying lines that
Right.
they've learned. They're in costumes, they're in makeup, they're on a set. There's a camera crew. Somebody directed this movie, somebody wrote it, and maybe there were rewrites and people fought over it. You put all that out of your mind so you can enjoy the movie. And in doing that, you put yourself in a very suggestible state. So if they want you to jump, you jump, right? If they want you to feel sad, you might want to cry. I mean, why? You're an adult, you're intelligent, you know it's not real, but you put yourself in that state so you can enjoy the movie, right? Uh, Even so, you're always aware that you're sitting there watching a movie on some level. And in hypnosis, in a deeper state of trance, you're always aware that you're sitting there in an altered hypnotic state. If there's ever anything that doesn't suit you for any reason, either you'll just ignore it or you'll come out of hypnosis completely. So I tell my clients, I don't do anything to you. You're doing it. I guide you, I instruct you, I help you to access that altered state. It's part of your mental equipment you were born with. So I want to show you it's really kind of a blend of self-hypnosis and meditation. And Peggy, you and your audience, you'll be able to do this yourself. Uh, so if you want to participate, you don't have to. If you want to participate, close your eyes and take yourself inside and defocus your mind. I'm not telling you to quiet your mind. I know a lot of meditation protocols want you to quiet your mind. They don't usually tell you how. I'm just saying, and defocus so you're not thinking about anything in particular. You take yourself inside, and I want you to occupy all the space inside your body. Every place, every part, from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, all the way to your hips. Even parts of you that you don't usually think about, like occupy the back of your head, right? Just be present there. Don't worry if you're doing it right. And now add to that your right shoulder, two places at once, and your left elbow, the index finger on your right hand, four places all at once. Just do the best you can. Your right hip, your left elbow, the calf, the right calf on your right leg, and the instep on your left foot. Occupy all those places at once and occupy all the space inside your body all at once. This is what it feels like to be hypnotized. Some people like to get the sense of a beautiful light shining inside of you that shines into every part of you all at once. And holding on to this feeling, get a sense of expansion, like you're a bubble expanding out into the universe in all directions. And now double that feeling. Intensify it, spread it, and double it again. Let it fill you. And start saying to yourself in your mind over and over, I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit over and over. Happy, peaceful, playful. I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. Let you do that by yourself for just a little bit. And now shout to yourself in your mind, I deserve to be happy, healthy, and successful. And whenever you're ready, bring yourself back, all the way back to everyday time, space, and awareness. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
It's a very relaxing feeling for
Uh
people
huh.
that don't know what hypnosis feels like. And
Yeah. And that's the way this works. If I can get you to feel what hypnosis feels like, then really you're in a hypnotic you're hypnotized. And that's how I call this the zone. And I recommend doing it maybe 3 times a day, 2 or 3 minutes at a time, except you can also use it to go to sleep. You're lying in bed, take yourself into the zone with the intention of staying there indefinitely. I sleep with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit over and over again. And you'll pass into sleep. It's a very nice way to put yourself to sleep.
yeah, our last show was about how sleep deprivation accelerates dementia. And this is an example of how you can have some control of the choices you make at
That's right.
bedtime. we
Yeah.
talked about turning off the electronics an hour before, and hypnosis, just like when you're practicing Lamaze or whatever to have a baby, it's practice that makes it more effective.
Right.
Um, Occasionally I run across people, "Oh, I tried hypnosis 20 years ago. It doesn't work with me." You know, it's I just heard on the radio this week that majority of the population has significant dental phobias,
hmm
and that prevents them from keeping up with their regular checkups and everything. But what I found, I remember 20 years ago, a dentist just wouldn't stop talking. And I'd say, "Excuse me, I'm trying to get to my happy place. Would you please shut up?"
Yeah,
Uh,
when I sit down in a dentist chair, I guess I've conditioned myself. I basically just go into a trance state, and
yeah.
I'm pretty much out of it, except if they tell me to open my mouth more, I can do that, uh, or spit or whatever. But I'm just really kind of in la la land till until they're done.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I have focused on people with dental phobias. It's also been researched that dentists have an extremely high rate of suicide.
That's right.
Um,
That's
we
right.
we probably need to, include them in our umbrella of people, like, encourage them because 'cause they're not usually people that I've come across in my path in the hypnotherapy practice.
Yeah. You remember the Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah.
It was really
So
a riff on that. So when people, I call it the zone, when people take themselves into the zone, I'm talking about my clients, um, several times a day, they change in positive ways and sometimes unexpected ways. So I was working with this young woman a few years ago, 20 years old. She was a student at University of Maryland, Chinese, from China, very anxious. So she, first of all, she's in this strange country speaking English most of the time. She was anxious about her schoolwork. I think she was under a lot of pressure. She had an American boyfriend. She was anxious about him. And she said there were mice running around in the air conditioner in her dorm room, and they wouldn't do anything about it. So I taught her to take herself into the zone, asked her to start doing it several times a day. She comes back a week later. I say to her, "So, how's it going?" She says, "Well, I've been having these bouts of happiness for no apparent reason." I said, "Well, that's nice." She said, "Yeah." And then she says, "And the mice are gone too."
that's interesting. I wonder what the connection there was.
Well, I don't, if you ask me,
Although, the way the
I don't
universe
think,
works,
I don't think the mice were real.
in a dorm, they might very well have been.
They might have
Um,
been, but I
uh,
think she was making up the mice, and when she started doing self hypnosis several times a day, that all changed.
so,
I've also had people report back. You mentioned road rage, that the road rage was gone after just from doing self hypnosis several times a day. And of course, I do a lot more with my clients just from that.
right.
They get most people get a significant shift.
So, yeah, I don't think I've ever really had somebody that didn't benefit even a little bit from our efforts.
Yeah.
We're gonna take another brief break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
816-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to the Holistic Nurse with Peggy Smith, and I am with my guest, Don Pelles from Silver Spring, Maryland. Um, we're talking about hypnosis and empowering self with the new year coming and approaching, and stressful. You don't have to plan to be stressed out. So, what are your recommendations to avoid?
Well, first of all, I taught you the zone. And by the way, if you want a refresher, you can go on my YouTube channel, and there's Hypnosis Silver Spring, same as my practice, all one word, Hypnosis Silver Spring. And there's a video on there called The Zone. You can watch that. It's a good refresher. Uh, so I said you'd be able to do this by yourself. So now I'm going to show you one thing we can do with this. So once again, close your eyes and defocus your mind so you're not thinking about anything in particular. And just take yourself back where you were a few moments ago. That's right. Take yourself into the zone. And I'll give you a little guidance in case you need it. Some of you are already there, I know. Just occupy all the space inside your body. Get that feeling. Right. You might want to imagine a wonderful hypnotic fluid just filling you up from your feet all the way to the top of your head and flowing into every nook and cranny. And holding on to that feeling, get a sense of expansion, like you're a beautiful ball of energy shining way out in space, far beyond the limits of your physical body. And now double that feeling, going deeper, just going into it more intensely, and double it again, going even deeper. And start saying to yourself in your mind over and over, I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit, over and over. Now begin to imagine or visualize yourself exactly the way you want to be. Every respect, inside and outside, mentally, physically, and spiritually, whatever that means to you, now and in the future. This is your power self. This is you exactly the way you want to be. And see him or her at first from a distance. Now zoom in closer and closer until you're right up next to them. So you could reach out and touch them if you wanted to. Float all around them, experiencing them from all sides, from every angle. Listen to the sound of their voice as they speak. Watch them as they move. See the light in their eyes, the expression of their face. Feel their heart, their spirit. And now step into your power self. Step in and become that person from the inside out. Being in their body, looking out on the world through their eyes, speaking with their voice and feeling the power in that voice. Moving with their body, their arms, their legs, their muscles, moving freely and easily, thinking clearly with their powerful mind, and feeling with their heart, their spirit. And some of the issues you used to struggle with, they, that is you, have resolved. They're no longer issues for you. And just get a sense of what that is like to have resolved these things. Now, I want you to think of a situation that in the past might have been difficult or uncomfortable for you. But now be your power self. Be him or her in that situation, handling it easily, comfortably, confidently, gracefully. And let that situation play out as your power self. I'll give you a little bit of time for this. And now step back out of your power self. So once again, you're viewing him or her from the outside, but having brought back with you some of what you learned and experienced in being them. And take a few moments to incorporate this into the present day, the current you. You're programming yourself in the direction of your power self. Take all the time you need, and only when you're ready, bring yourself back and open your eyes.
Okay.
Anything you'd like to share, Peggy?
My mind is always active, I guess, with the ADD, and I was thinking of just the time of year that it is, and some many companies have layoffs at the end of the year, so yeah, that's a stress that a lot of people are
Hmm.
experiencing, and it seems trite sometimes when one door closes, another one opens, but the universe has a way of on its own time,
Hmm.
making that statement a true statement for most of us.
Hmm.
Um, and just when you're talking about empowerment, you don't have to plan to be depressed over the holidays. You don't have to plan to be stressed. There are people that start in September. Oh, the holidays are always hard for me.
Yeah.
Well, you're putting yourself up right there. Um, but there also is, now, am I planning to plot this dog's demise? Well, that might be a apologize for his interruptions. The research shows a high number of relationships end over the holidays,
Really?
and it may be worth considering, knowing that statistic, which is fact. Um, if your relationship is struggling, then you should have time to step back. Just don't break it up. Because of course, the situations that it needs to be. No one ever should stay in an abusive situation. But Being empowered means you choose the terms of your life.
Yes. And I suggest to your listeners that you do this exercise, the power of self. Do it once a day.
Excuse me just a moment. Keep talking.
Yeah. Get used to experiencing your power self and moving in the direction of being that person. Uh, that's also on my YouTube channel. It's called Power Self, Hypnosis Silver. Go on YouTube, search for Hypnosis Silver Spring, Power Self. Uh, Doing that once a day, it really moves you in the direction of that person that you really want to be. And this is better or goes along with your, what did you call it, New Year's intentions?
New Year's intentions, yes, instead
Yeah.
of resolutions. We always joke about how by noon on New Year's Day, you've already broken all your resolutions.
Well, in this case, you get to experience being that person, if only for a short amount of time. Now, when I work with cancer patients, twice a month I do a class, Hypnosis for Symptom Relief. At, we have a wonderful organization here uh, called Hope Connections for Cancer Support, and I do it virtually. Anybody can join it. Hope Connections for Cancer Support. But I do a similar thing called Healed Self, where you imagine yourself completely healed, and you step in and experience being that person for a little bit. And that in itself is healing. So that's not on my YouTube channel, but you can do Power Self and you can include healing as part of it.
I'm a cancer survivor myself, and I thought it was something that I had just discovered on my own and wasn't even sharing it with people. But whenever I would take a shower, I would just visualize all of the illness going down the drain.
Oh,
And
cool.
I mentioned that to a woman 20 years later, that's something that had worked for me. And she said, "Oh my God, I do the same thing." She said, "I thought it was just me." So there's probably millions of us out there
Okay.
that,
Well, I want to
just,
borrow that.
yeah, you're welcome to visualize all the cancer cells just going down the drain in the tub. And you come out feeling extra clean when you're done, and
Definitely.
ready and
Definitely.
strong enough to fight the next stage. And it is a
Yeah.
multi-stage, but um, and there's after the show, I'll get that information for my resource list for cancer patients, so that they can
Yeah.
hook into you.
Hope
Hopefully.
Connections for Cancer Support in Bethesda.
Okay,
And a lot of it's virtual, so you could be anywhere.
right now. So that is really great. Before we close this section, and go into the final closing, do you have anything else you'd like to tell people?
Um, no, if you do the zone several times a day and Power Self once a day, you'll notice a real shift in how you feel and even who you are. Uh, so that's what I suggest.
That's very helpful. A lot of people are approaching this holiday season with maybe empty chairs at the table, or with a lot of pressure that they put on themselves. And I'm
Mhm.
being told that we only have a few seconds before the break, so we'll pick up here when we come back. Thank you.
Okay.
Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern. Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success as well as making a difference. Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life.
Welcome back to the Holistic Nurse with Peggy Smith and Don Pelles from Silver Spring, Maryland. Don, how can people reach you and what do you have to offer them?
Well, my website is in the chat. At the top of that homepage, there's a button, and you can use that button to schedule a free consultation with me, either over Zoom or phone. And then we'll just talk about what's going on with you, what you want to change, and kind of figure out how I can help. Typically, what I do is different from psychotherapy. For instance, people go to talk therapists like week after week, month after month, sometimes for years, and sometimes it helps, and sometimes it doesn't. Uh, I imagine Peggy. It's a lot. The process is a lot shorter. Uh, Typically, I'll work with somebody for 3, 4, 5 sessions. Usually 90-minute sessions, so maybe 6 hours typically. And that would be 4 sessions. And a lot of I won't say necessarily everything, but a lot of their issues get resolved in that time. So what I do is very effective, uh, and it works beautifully. And the reason is we're working on the unconscious level. Of course, we talk, but most of it is on the unconscious level, and that's where real change, permanent change takes place.
And you're also teaching skills that people can go forward in their life and use
That's right.
anytime.
That's right.
Uh,
My intention is to empower you to do this basically yourself. Uh, so you're not dependent upon me or any other therapist. So I really see myself as teaching people, as you say.
right. So as we're approaching the holiday season, I just want to remind people to be safe and stay healthy. You be aware you don't have control over the other people on the road, but certainly increase your awareness and, don't go into trance while you're driving for sure. And don't put on extra pressures on yourself. Budgets are tight for everybody. You've got nothing to prove going above your budget. If you're in a Pollyanna that's more than, it's okay if you just decline to participate. You'll feel so much stronger and happier with yourself and have less stress. When am I going to pay off that card next year when I just lost my job? So uh, stand up for yourself, empower, yourself to have a successful 2026 and, just basically stay healthy. Many people struggle during this time. So I always like to add 988 suicide hotline. If you need to find some help in your area, that line is national, but can hook you up anywhere. Um, and Don, would you like to add anything else in our final?
Yeah, just remember, I deserve to be happy, healthy, and successful.
That's a beautiful way to close. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And Don, you have a pleasant and healthy holiday season
Thank you so
with your
much,
family.
Peggy. I really
Well,
enjoyed this.
it's a pleasure to have you today. Thank
All
you.
right.
Take
This has been The Holistic Nurse with host Peggy Smith. Tune in each week where you're encouraged to send in questions and receive private responses and suggestions if appropriate. Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern,